Joe.
Put this thing on.
I think they both. Well, I don't even know. Did you expect this fight to last all 5 rounds? Was that your game plan?
Yeah, I hate to say a game plan, but definitely an expectation, Saul's only been finished once, and even fights that, he gets 10-8 or dominated, he doesn't quit. He's there the whole time. And it's funny because I'm usually pretty good at not so much breaking my opponent, but I can read what they're actually feeling. Guys will put on a front or a face, but I'm like, deep down I know you're hurting. And around like the end of the second or third, Saul was hurting pretty bad and thinking about quitting, and then I don't know, his coach said something in Portuguese. He must have said I insulted his mom or something, because he came out like, and I was like, oh shit, here we go. And I still felt good in the fourth, and then in the end, kind of pinned me to the wall a little bit. And I was actually really happy that he couldn't get me down, because if you noticed, I looked at my corner to see what they had to say, and then in my head I was running through everything we went on at AKA, and I was like, if I can just stop this takedown, like that's a personal win. So I was chilling there, and then somebody said 10 seconds, and I was like, that's a win in my book. Not so much like I'm stalling to win the round, but just like, in the past, that would have gotten me to the ground. Now it's like, you can't take me down. And then in the fifth, we knew it was going to be a lot more of that, a lot of pressure, a lot of takedowns. And it was really nice, able to work, my back pedaling, my back striking, stop and takedown. So it was more of it was like a classroom experiment, kind of. So not a game plan, but an expectation. And if it was a test, I passed with flying colors.
Now, that finish, just all that striking, I mean, what went through your head? Were you trying to punish him?
No, just kind of trying to raise the output and stay tight. One of the hardest things you can do is throw as hard as you can while throwing fast and keeping your composure. So I was just like, let's see how hard and fast we can throw without, standing square and being ready to brawl. And a couple times I ended up that way for a half second. But I think I did a pretty good job. And I tell people all the time, especially something we focus on with AKA, it's easy to strike for 25 minutes. It is the hardest thing in the world to strike for 25 minutes after a few wrestling exchanges. And we wrestle so much at AKA that I know there's nobody that can wrestle with me and then get right back into the striking exchange.
Awesome.
Joe.
What's up?
As always, bro, congratulations.
Thank you.
I think that's all I can say to you. So, that's definitely AKA, definitely showed up as usual. And it shows that you have a tight-knit bond with this out in Cali. I mean, you pretty much dedicate yourself out there and then come back and then just work on your personal gym too. So, I mean...
I have the greatest support system that any fighter could ask for. In the gym on the East Coast, in the gym on the West Coast, at home here, outside of the gym on the West Coast. And I know it was stuff that I had to do to cut certain people out, but still I don't know what I did to be blessed enough to have all those people. Whether, it's legends in the gym like AKA from like DC, Habib, Kane, John Fitch, Luke Rockhold, guys like that, down to just my teammates here at home. Justin Burrell, he's been my high school wrestling coach, and he's been in my corner ever since. Jair Morcelli over at BTT Taunton, my buddy Tyler Pimento, everybody that buys tickets. This is the most tickets I've ever sold to a fight, and you could feel that energy, forget hear it. So I'm just blessed for everybody that supports me. I don't know why I'm that blessed, but I am, and it took a lot to get here, and I'm glad I'm here.
And my last thing to you, bro, is the Five Guys is in order, right?
It's in the fridge over there. I ordered it earlier. I got the milkshake in the freezer. I got a burger and fries in the fridge. It's waiting for me.
And are you taking a Twitch break for a while?
No, I'll probably be live tomorrow night. So Giannetti MMA on Twitch. Let's get it popping. I got some giveaways. I do some giveaways every once in a while. Give back to the evil army. MMA related, like memorabilia, or just some gaming stuff to help people either game or start streaming. Just something that I don't want to say gaming saved my life, but it was definitely a big part in my life growing up between anime, gaming, and then exercising and fighting.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you.
See you again, I'm sure.
For sure.
So a lot of people were not expecting this fight to go more than 3 rounds. What do you think prevented you from getting a finish early?
I have no idea. Everybody said third round you're going to finish him, and I was like, do you know something I don't know? Because I didn't expect to finish him in the third at all. He's a tough guy. He fights anybody and everybody. Did I like him? No, not in the slightest, but I think that's a big problem that a lot of guys make in the sport, even to the highest level. You don't have to like somebody to respect their skills. Look at somebody like a close friend, a coach, and a training partner like DC. You think he likes John Jones? No. But he still looks at him and says, that prick's one of the best in the world. So that's a true martial artist. You don't have to like everybody, but you have to respect their skill set. And if I finish him in the third, cool, but I said multiple times, if he lets me beat him up for 25 minutes, I will beat him up for 25 minutes.
Do you think you're closer to the UFC after this fight?
I don't know. A lot of things I could have done better. I know I'm gonna go to the bar and everybody's gonna tell me I'm crazy like my last few fights. But man, I'm just such a perfectionist because it just takes one in this game. Every little punch that he hit me with, and there wasn't many, any one of those could have put my lights out. And that's just the game we play. So, it frustrates me when people do land on me because I know I'm one of the best strikers on the East Coast. And when guys like that land on me, it kind of goes against that argument. So a lot of things to improve on. Maybe I am closer to the UFC, but like I've said before, the reason I belong is because I have a chance to beat anybody in the UFC, specifically bowl-cut, blonde-headed fighters.
What's the biggest thing you think you can improve on from this fight?
Mentality, not like I'm mentally weak, but I definitely feel like there's doubts that follow me from when I was a kid. Deep down there, stuff that I usually only battle right before I'm about to walk out. I'm about to walk out and I think about that kid that hit me with a flying knee in 6th grade outside of my middle school. And I'm like, damn, that kid got me. And that was because I was running my mouth because he kept calling me fat. And so many heinous things said to me, and I'm thinking of it, and I'm like, why does any of that matter right now? But it does, because that will play into your performance. So I fight those fights right before I walk out. So I got to fight those fights outside the cage a little bit more, silence those voices, and then, come back and just be the best I can be.
So the fact that someone said you were built like a milk bag motivate you in this fight?
Yes and no. That was, and I pinned that on one of my posts. That was the greatest comment I've ever heard because, it makes sense until you think about it, and then you're just like, what does that mean? But then one of my friends yelled it to Saul, and I was like, I'm supposed to be a badass right now. You can't say that. I'm trying not to laugh, and I hear, Saul, you're built like a bag of milk. And I'm like, you didn't hear him. Then Saul throws a jab, and I'm like, shit, I heard him.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Anything that you want to share?
I'm just excited to get the win. I had a whole list of, shit talk and names to drop, but I do every time, and then I realize that I work so hard for this, so the only person that gets the limelight here is me and my team. So.
Is there anyone who inspired you throughout this fight camp?
A lot of people, and I might get backlash for this, but a lot of men, a lot of guys that go through really hard times. If you guys saw, a part of my profits from my fight shirts is going in Movember, basically to help with men's mental health. Something that a lot of people have been talking about more and more lately, which I love, but I still don't think it's talked about enough. As there's stuff that men do that's bad out there. Of course, everybody does bad shit. Nobody's perfect, but I feel like men's mental health is very skimmed over, and I know I've hit my lowest of lows. And like I've said to you guys, I'm just so blessed to have the support system I do. But a lot of people don't have that support system or don't know they have that support system, and they end up clocking out early or even just considering it. So, guys, if you got the boys you want to take care of, ask them how they're doing. Everybody else, ask the guys in your life, dads, boyfriends, brothers. Might be all they need.
Thank you.
Yep.
Last question for me. Obviously, you signed off with shouting out the UFC brass. You called out Sean Shelby and company. Do you think with this fight that you delivered on what these brass are looking for? And if so, how do you think, essentially, plotting out the return to the UFC? How close? What do you think you need to exactly deliver on in order to finally have no chance of saying no to you?
Maybe just prove that I can be a draw. Book a UFC at the Garden. Watch how fast we sell it out. I can guarantee within the first 48 hours we'll sell out the Garden. Bet my life. Anything else? Let's drink!